Good afternoon, or was a warm, bright, and sunny day. It is Friday, the 7th of April. It's Good Friday, and I have a little parcel to unbox. And this comes with the interesting little seal there, and it's fairly solidly packed. So whether I put the knife, there it is. Let's find out what I've got in here. It's one of these plastic packages. I'm not always huge fan of these because they're quite difficult to, they're not the easiest things to get into. So knife, there we go. That was easier than I anticipated. So I pull these out and wow, okay, this is amazing. I've just pulled these out and just the packaging on these is amazing. So I'm looking for going to find out. The thing is, I don't know what's in these exactly. There's two of them, so let's find out. No, of course that's issue 2, because hey, you're always bound. If you were looking for issue 1, you will always find issue 2 first. So let's just tie these back up again, and I will grab issue 1. No, this is issue 1. Unless I've ordered issue 2 copies of issue 2, which I don't think I have. No, it's got a different seal on the back, different colour seal. But the production values on this, is, for starters, is fantastic. It's essentially it's got almost a little kind of sword thing there, behind a seal on the back. You've got the seal again, and then these envelopes with the string, and it's got like, oh wow, really nicely done. And so let's undo this and find out what I've got inside. And this is Hwaet. I think it is. I'm just trying to find out what. Let's see if I can find. It's HWAET, Hwaet, and it's issue 1, July 2022, Folklore and Folk Horror fanzine. So I got this because this is always kind of, you're talking about, this is always kind of useful information for when you come to do your role play, for writing horror scenarios, that sort of thing, and bringing your horror into play, basing it upon already existing myths and folklore. So you open up, you've got the very dark pages of content and credits, so that's a little bit difficult to read, but it's really nicely done. And then we have an actual introduction to Hwaet. It's because pronounced it rhymes with cat. It says there, so Hwaet. So yeah. So this is talking about sort of like introduction to the fanzine, what it's all about, and what it's going to explore. And then it's looking at Old Gods Never Die, soundtrack in the folk horror renaissance with Green Lung. And this is an interview with the band Green Lung, who writes presumably songs about folk horror. So you start off with an interview, sort of like taking advantage of sort of like the interest and revival of interest in folk horror. So that's actually quite a lengthy piece. So there we go. I've actually got a picture of the band there, and basically sort of, kind of like an icon or piece of art for the band. And then we have interesting Children of the Night, vampires as a metaphor and source of power for queer people. so that's going to be sort of like looking at aspects of horror, because this is talking about horror and folk horror, and exploring its significance and cultural significance. We've got Cold Pool poem, it's poetry, and Unearthing the Shattered Memories, which is on a little show called Detectorists. Detectorists is a really lovely comedy series, very relaxed, about a pair of metal detectorists who share a passion for metal detecting across the local landscape, hoping to find something interesting, and so on, and strike it lucky. So, and their story is sort of like of their relationship, and and also metal detecting, sort of like culture as well, sort of like the hobby of it, the do's and don'ts. And then Old Stories and New Mythologies, The Natural and the Fantastical Collide with Lindy Fay Heller. I'm not quite sure. So basically an author, I think. Not quite clear. And then a cat. Hwæt reading list, a handpicked selection of fiction inspired by folklore and folk horror. And then The Man in the Snow and the Slow Suffocating Horror of Mondane. So this is going to be, coming. Looking at this, I don't know. Clearly, I don't know enough about sort of the genre. I know a little bit, so on. So there's this. It's actually sort of like got some gaming use here, because the author is the gaming editor at Astral Noise, and then we have Rituals of Fiction, Striving for Control in a Universe of chaos, talking about rituals and rituals of power. So again, there we go. And then we have Hwaet, watch list, a list of things to watch. After you've got the reading list earlier, my only comment would be, so there's basically films, TV shows, documentaries and shorts that fit into the mood and themes of our inaugural issue. It's quite compact, and that green on the black again, not always the easiest to read. Modern myth, human sacrifice and the primal power of fire. Why do we still burn Wickham? And that's something that we kind of come back to, sort of like in horror, because it's such a powerful image. And then we have Filmed in the Forests and Fields of Furrows, a folklore and folk horror film locations map of the British Isles. This kind of ties into the earlier Hellbore guide, which I've done an unboxing of, but more obviously filmic than the Hellbore guide. Godlocks and the Three Hairs, exploring the significance of those three figures. And then we have a listing of sort of like the folk horror trope bingo guide. So yeah, I think that if you've got an interest in folk horror, that'll be an interesting read, something to add to the shelf. Some neat little essays and interviews, and source material for your gaming. I have to admit that I picked this up purely because it's a fanzine and I thought it might have some gaming significance. I'm always on the lookout for interesting fanzines to add to my review queue. I do regular reviews of fanzines, and this is going to be reviewed very soon. So yeah, that's Hwæt Zine Issue number 1, which came out in July 2022. Anyway, thanks for watching another unboxing in the Nook. If you've enjoyed this, then please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to get more unboxings in the Nook, where you will see me out here with a package containing a book, or in this case, another package containing a fanzine, which I will unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. Then please do hit the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing in the Nook. Be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.